Okay, let's go for it. Hi. I'm going to try something a little bit different this time around with the 5 Ponds Press book, but we're going to start, if you're looking at the digital copy like I am, okay, so we are in our science book, and we're going to go to our table of contents, and in our table of contents, we're going to look for the chapter titled Wild Weather. Now, Wild Weather, from there, today we're going to do pages 102, 103, temperature and humidity. Okay, before we even start the page, let's do a quick scan of the page and take a look at our text features. All right, so you'll see at the top of the page, the title is Temperature and Humidity, and the author chose to do that in a big font, different color blue than any other blue on the paper, on the pages. So it's telling you that is the title, the topic of our page, the title of our page. Then as I scan through, I can see my subtitles are also in blue and a little bit darker. So we have Icky and Sticky, 2 Men, 2 Measures, Make a Thermometer, and Hot, Warm, Cold. Okay, so we have those text features there. We also have some text features on there that we have some photos, and each photo has a caption. So we see the big thermometer at the top, and we see the boy or girl, I don't know who that is, down at the bottom. Let's zoom in a little bit here. All right. Too cold for comfort. There's our photo, and it says temperatures below freezing can damage exposed skin, so always dress warmly if you will be outdoors for long periods of time. All right. So then as we go through the page here, we have a chart, Fahrenheit to Celsius, and there's some more graphics there about thermometers. And also I noticed on this page that all the important words are bolded and in red. Okay, so there's a lot of text features that we can get from this just before we even start reading. We have this pop out here. It tells us how to make a cool thermometer. Okay, explains how they work. All right, so there's a lot of text features for us to even look at. So we start reading before we actually even start reading the words. Okay, let's see. So temperature, let's read the page together. Humidity. All right, so there's our first part here. I'm actually going to read off the book. I don't know if you remember these things here. They're called books. Let's see, and as we're doing science and not history, someday maybe you'll have a science book again. But right now, you can follow along with me. All right, so it says freezing, sweating, or just right. Temperature and humidity. Air temperature is the measure of the amount of heat energy in the atmosphere. But what does that really mean? You know that the sun's rays carry heat energy to the earth. Different parts of the atmosphere receive and hold on to different amounts of that heat energy. If there is a lot of heat energy in a certain place, the air temperature is high or hot. If there's very little heat energy, the air temperature is low or cold. Icky and sticky. Icky and sticky. How hot or cold you feel will also depend on humidity, which measures the amount of water vapor in the air. When the air at any temperature is full of water vapor, we say it has 100% humidity. You'll probably feel pretty miserable, even if the temperature is a balmy 24 degrees Celsius. Why? Your sweat can't evaporate to cool you off because the air is already full of moisture. You will feel warm and sticky. I didn't know that. So you feel hotter in humid weather because you can't sweat to cool yourself off because there's already moisture in the air. So your sweat can't evaporate off your skin. Have you ever noticed dew on the grass early in the morning, or fog forming in a valley or on a road? Yes, I have. These are both due to changes in temperature and humidity. Dew and fog form when warm, moist air cools down, causing water to condense. Clouds are basically just fog up in the sky. Clouds form when warm, moist air cools as it rises in the atmosphere. A lot of weather depends on the humidity and the temperature of the air. So I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to hike high enough or mountain climb high enough where you actually, or even on an airplane, you can see where you're looking down through the clouds. So you can get that idea of how their clouds are just fog in the sky. Two men, two measures. There are two common scales to measure the ups and downs of temperature. Both are named after their inventors who lived in the early 1700s. The one we use in the United States is named after Daniel Fahrenheit, who was a Dutch glassblower, a very hot profession. Very hot profession, because he was a glassblower, and you really need to heat up glass in order for it to melt. It's a hot profession. Temperatures on the Fahrenheit scale have 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or 0, that little degree sign in the F. That's right there. A little 0 degree in the F. Okay. All right. Mr. Fahrenheit invented his scale with 0 being the temperature of salty freezing water, 32 degrees Fahrenheit being the freezing point of pure water, and 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit being the average human body temperature, and 212 degrees Fahrenheit being water's boiling point. It's a little complicated. It's not a little complicated, it's a lot complicated. Those are some different numbers. They're not friendly numbers like we work on in math. So most science uses this next guy system. All scientists and people in almost every other country in the world use a scale named after Anders Celsius, a Swedish astronomer. Temperatures in Celsius have the little 0 degree, the little degree sign with the C after the number. Okay. The Celsius scale, based on the number 10, is much simpler, with water's freezing point at 0 and water's boiling point at 100. So again, based on water freezes at 0, boils at 100, and it's easy peasy. That's why everybody uses that everywhere else around the world. And you can see that on this chart here from Celsius, from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and how to convert the two. So Celsius is the universal. And then we have here this part here on how to create a thermometer. And I will read this little hot, warm, cold. Oh, the question. Hot, warm, cold. Chart your temperature range in your area. Chart the temperature range in your area. Check the temperature when you wake up and when you get home from school for the next 2 weeks. Well, I don't know. I guess chart the temperature when you wake up, and when virtual school is over at 2:30, and go outside and look, or go on your computer. So, because when you get home, if you're learning hybrid, I don't know. How about check the temperature when you wake up, and again in the afternoon. There we go. For the next 2 weeks, you can check at an online weather site, watch TV, or check an outdoor thermometer. Record the highs and lows for each day, along with the change in degrees between the high and the low. High and low. What patterns do you notice? Okay. So that is the page there, temperature and humidity.